To talk more about that story and give the view now of Fundzi Ngobeni from ActionSA. A very good evening to you, sir. Good to have your time tonight. What exactly is your concern around the qualifications of the new mayor?
Good evening, Thembekile, and good evening to your viewers. I think our main concern is that the city is leaderless at the moment. We hear, the leader of Al Jamaa, but our mayor is supposed to be responding to these questions and clearing all these allegations, because this is not the only allegation that was made against him. Thembekile, there is allegations that have been going around of him defrauding the community in Protea North, but we are not hearing him. He's missing in action, and as a result, the city remains without the leader. That's our main concern, and we want to hear him. We want to hear him, giving confidence to the residents that all these allegations are not true, so that he can be able to continue with his work, because residents are waiting for service delivery.
Do you not believe his political party, Al Jamaa, when they say that there is a reasonable explanation for his qualifications and that he was vetted and therefore nothing was picked up as far as his alleged involvement in a Ponzi scheme, as was being reported in the last week or so?
Yeah, look, we were really hoping that he will clear all this himself over the weekend. But we had stories that he's unable to avail himself. This vetting process, Thembekile, it's also something that we need to actually follow up on, because the Al Jamaa leader says the vetting was done by national security. He was informed by Fikile Mbalula about that. We need to ask, how is Fikile Mbalula then getting involved in national state security vetting matters, and where is this vetting, because now, all these issues are rising after this so-called vetting that happened. So it's important for the mayor to take the resident into his confidence. I think what we need, and the residents of the city of Johannesburg need, is stability in the city. And it's unfortunate that the ANC and the EFF coalition are unable to provide us with that solution. Mm-hmm. And that is what really concerns us the most. We hear the issue of the qualification, and we want to give him an opportunity to clear his name in that, including the issue of defrauding the residents. But most importantly, we need a mayor that is visible, that is present, that can be able to assist us to get service delivery going.
Do you believe, as ActionSA, that there's something or gap that is missing, or in fact lies to do with what has been attributed to Mayor Gwamanda, where the qualifications are concerned?
Yeah, no, we have a reason to be suspicious of that, because he's running away from accountability. So it's important, and it's quite interesting that the coalition partners themselves. We have not heard anything from Panyaza Lesufi. We have not heard anything from the leaders of ANC in the city of Johannesburg, of EFF in the city of Johannesburg. These are people that have voted for this mayor. And the second mayor that they have put into the that is now found wanting. So I think they need to come out. They need to bring him on board here, so that he can be able to explain himself, and we can be able to start seeing service delivery on the ground, because that's really again the main issue.
Those who defend the mayor say that this is definitely basically a dirty political game. All of you as sore losers from the last election of the mayor, where he then emerged as the successful candidate, trying to get him out by any means from the allegations first made public by the DA of his alleged involvement in the Ponzi scheme, to the issue of the qualifications. If these issues are indeed true, why were they not flagged before Gwamanda became mayor?
No, look, all these issues are not raised by us as political parties. They are raised by residents, people that were defrauded. And of course, when they raise them, we can't ignore them. The Carte Blanche ran a story yesterday, and they have done their own investigation. They were not influenced by any of us. The issue here, Thembekile, is that the coalition that is led by the ANC and EFF continues to give us mayors that are suspect, that are not up to the task, and that are found wanting from time to time. I think what is important, residents wants to know why the ANC and EFF can't sit around the table, identify the best person for the position among themselves, and then put that person up as a mayoral candidate. And then we can be able to start talking about service delivery. We can hold them accountable. It cannot be that every time, every second month, we're going to have a mayor that is being investigated, that is found to be not up to the task and so on. So they need to really take the residents of Johannesburg seriously. They need to ensure that if they really want to be in government and to really deliver services, identify the best men amongst themselves, the best women among themselves, put him up as a mayoral candidate, and let's get service delivery going in the city of Johannesburg.
How long do you see this mayor lasting?
Look, with his disappearance, we don't know where he is now. We hear that he's out of town. Where? We woke up this morning. We only saw a tweet from Gayton Mackenzie that Kenny Kunene is acting mayor. The mayor is not talking to the resident. He's not telling us where if he's overseas to go raise funds for the city. We need to know that our mayor is okay, he's safe, he's healthy, and we need to know where he is, But he's not saying anything. He's not communicating to us as the residents. He's not communicating to councillors. So we don't know where he is, but we hope that he will come back, as I say, on Tuesday, and then he can be able to answer for himself.
Well, if you are wondering about his whereabouts, I think Times Live was reporting this afternoon that the new mayor is in Cape Town. I want to ask you about Kenny Kunene, the acting mayor. Do you read this acting stint for these few days as potentially a dress rehearsal for Kunene to take over as mayor, should there be a need for Gwamanda to suddenly leave the picture?
It could be. It could be that these colleagues have looked around and they see that there's problems here, and they are now starting to placate that with the acting mayor. We know that we'll be looking at that closely. We will be watching to see what happens. There's nothing wrong with one being appointed an acting mayor. It happens from time to time when a mayor is outside of town or is engaged in other matters. So there's nothing wrong with it, but we need to know where our mayor is. He's our mayor, Thembeki. The residents are paying for his salary. They are paying for his well-being. They need to know that he is well, that he's alive, and they need to see him coming and accounting for himself.
Do you
That's
worry?
all that we are asking for.
Do you worry about whether the mayor is well, or are you just concerned about seeing him so you can give him a grilling?
No, we'll definitely be holding him accountable at council and through council processes. But at this moment, he's nowhere to be seen. And people are asking questions. There's allegations flying around about our mayor. Our mayor needs to come and account and clear his name so that we can be proudly, begging him and saying this is our mayor of the city of Johannesburg. But at the moment, he's nowhere.
Apologies for cutting you off there. Do you think Kenny Kunene would be a better candidate for mayor?
Look, Kenny Kunene is MMC of transport. We still have to see his performance there. We can't tell them who they must give us the best person to lead the city. They've got numbers, Tembekile, in council. They've defeated us in the democratic processes in council. I think what they need to do now is to sit amongst themselves and ask each other, guys, who's the best among us that can be able to lead the city, that can deliver services on our behalf? And once they have answered that question, they must give us that individual so that he can be able to lead the city. We can work with him, we can hold that person accountable, and then we can be able to ensure that, next time when we meet in council, we discuss the real issues, not motions of no confidence every time.
ActionSA chairperson Fundzi Ngobeni, good to speak to you, sir. Thank you for your time tonight.